What they've done here, they created frames that are bolted onto here and here, and then they put the gas tanks onto here on welded brackets. These straps are welded onto the frames, so if the chassis twists, the kinetic stress goes up through here and here. VOSA said, and DVSA said. I nearly said DEFRA, that's animals. Left all the taps open, left all the pipes open, everything. So when the chassis tries to flex, you can see it's been stretched, but it was stretched by the military just a little bit to make it a long wheelbase. Just see it here, up through. So these frames are then bolted to the bottom of the C-section chassis, and you're not allowed to bolt to the C-section of the chassis. You're not allowed to bolt. MAN and VW do not allow you to extra bolt through the bottom. There should never be any bolts like this, like this, like this, like this, through that, unless it was done by the factory themselves. They only bolt through the side, and you shouldn't really drill extra holes, only after getting advice from MAN in the chassis flat section. And they bolted and drilled through the C section, which is a serious fault with VOSA. And like you see, they've done the springs here that can't go anywhere. Here, crappy brackets, they're like £4 each. Shitty brackets when you can make your own a lot thicker. They're only just folded here. You can see where they're just folded, not even welded up. But they can't actually do anything. And always when you put a frame onto the C-section chassis, it should be a 30 to 45 degree coming up at this angle, because this is a kinetic stress area from the engine and the gearbox. And if you look at MAN or any of the lorry companies, they have a 30 to 45 degree angle. You never have a right angle like this. I can send you the legislation, well, not legislation, I can send you the, and also they welded fish plates here, bolted it onto the chassis here, welded fish plates on here, bolted it to the chassis here, which means the chassis can no longer twist. Alright, hope that makes sense. Right, let's get down. I'm too old for this. I'm meant to be going just a few weeks' time. Every bump stop, every bit of rubber's been sprayed, and now all the bump stops are deteriorating. They sold it as the gas all open. If someone touched them tanks and turned them on, and they left bare wires, bare red live wires by the gas tanks and hanging down, just cut off and sheared off with bare ends, and they left bare ends of big thick battery cables. In here they left size of your thumb cables with bare ends on, just touching, this is plastic obviously, touching the tray. Put new rubbers on, sprayed it all, and it's all deteriorating, because you're not meant to spray rubber. End of. You're not meant to do it. So yeah, you're meant to pick up the existing holes in a chassis, side of a chassis. You're not meant to drill extra holes. You're meant to fabricate your brackets to fit the existing holes. But like you say here, so everything's rigid. They call this a kinetic torsion floating frame. How can it float or anything? And then they bolted the habitation box straight down, straight down, straight down. And Ian Motorcraft Coach goes, well, they only use them on the road. They don't really use them off-road. Yeah. So you got one rigid bolt. You always do the back end solid anyway. You don't have them. This is always going to be flat here, flat here. So up to sort of halfway across the wheel, you can go solid, meter and a bit. From the back end, you go solid. Then it's got to be sprung. But this can't go anywhere because it's bolted. It's impossible for it to float, it's impossible for it to move. Like I said, it's got to be 30 to 45% here on the first bit, straight behind the box. But even if you look at the way they fabricated the cut through, it's just bits and pieces glued together. It's diabolical. But obviously the box was on this thing when I saw it for sale. Yeah. Let alone all the other faults. I'll send you 2 video links, or I'll link another video to that. There we go. Anyway, it's all been done properly now. It's going to cost a small fortune, and Motorcraft will pay.